that the future is something that you can look forward to and not feel sad about. You want to get up in the morning and be excited about the future, and we should fight for the things that make us excited about the future. The future cannot, it cannot just be about one miserable thing after another, solving one sad problem after another. There got to be things that get you excited, like you want to live. These things are very important. You should have more of it.
And it's not as if it's a done deal. Like it's all to play for. Like the future may be horrible. Still, there are scenarios where it is horrible, but you see a pathway to an exciting future, both on Earth and on Mars, and in our minds through artificial intelligence and so forth. I mean, in your heart of hearts, do you really believe that you are helping deliver that exciting future for X and for others?
I'm trying my hardest to do so. I love humanity, and I think that we should fight for a good future for humanity, and I think we should be optimistic about the future and fight to make that optimistic future happen.
Uncle Sam is calling you. Today is his day. Traffic alert. Busy intersection has been causing major accidents. BISD consolidating into schools. Is that a good thing for BISD in the future? It is Monday, 7:03 a.m., April 18th. This is Frankie Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Again, everyone's favorite segment, the weather. For this past weekend, we had great weather. It was perfect beach weather. And moving forward, we should be seeing warm days ahead. There will be a cold front, even though it is weak and will possibly bring isolated showers here in South Texas. There is possible for more rain coming up, but we do have a chance of having isolated showers today. The city of Brownsville, Harlingen is at 87 degrees. South Padre Island, the Cabrera boys are at a cool 75. 30% chance of rain for tomorrow, Tuesday, but all through the week it should be a sunny day. So looking forward to having a great week moving forward. Hey, good morning. And now the weather, everyone's favorite segment. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate y'all. Now, in finance news, today is tax day. And as we all know, Uncle Sam wants his. For individuals who are business owners, entrepreneurs, today is a day in which the deadline to file taxes. Now, the important thing is that if you're not ready, make sure you contact your CPA, Linda Castro, to help you out with the situation that you might find yourselves in. And again, you do have the possibility of filing an extension for up to 6 months. All you need to do is, again, contact your tax preparer, or make sure you go to Linda Castro to help you out with this form. It is a 4868, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. That needs to be filed. And again, Uncle Sam will always get his. And one thing that you do not want him to do, never want to do, is get in trouble or get the attention of the IRS. So for my small business owners, for individuals who do receive an income tax, I think we have 2 to 4 years to claim it. But it's this deadline is mainly for business owners, entrepreneurs, individuals that do have to pay back. If you're not ready, make sure you do file an extension. Today is the day when Uncle Sam comes charging, and it's unfortunate, but the two things in life that are certain is death and taxes. So today is the day, and make sure you stop by Linda Castro. Go ahead and give her a call if you have any questions regarding your situation. Again, do not freak out today. Even though today is the last day, we do have a possibility of getting you an extension for up to 6 months. You need to file the 4868 extension form to the IRS. So if you're in a bind and haven't gotten your ducks in a row, make sure you contact your tax preparer. Linda Castro is available as well. for any concerns or questions that you may have. This past weekend was a beautiful weekend. The weather was great. We saw pictures of family and friends together, fajita, going out, the barbecues, the Easter egg hunt. It was all joy, with the exception of a few accidents that we had in our city. Paredes and Alton Glore, for recent times, have been the topic of discussion. Many friends and family have seen accidents in that very busy intersection. In that area, heading towards Los Fresnos, if you can imagine it by Denny's, if we're passing Denny's, for the most part, that seems to be a very dark and isolated area. Even though this past weekend should have been nothing but love and joy, it did bring pain and sorrow to some. We had the displeasure of reporting that we did have two confirmed major accidents, one possible hit and run, but that was a separate isolated incident in this area. On Sunday, we did have a Ram and a Mustang in a high impact accident. State troopers did respond to the scene, but what was more difficult for us was on Saturday night, the day before Easter. We did get word that there was two individuals that were taken to the hospital. The man driving a motorcycle succumbed to his injuries on the way to the hospital. His female companion, she did suffer some injuries, and I think she is in stable condition as of last night. And again, during this time, during Easter, we are supposed to celebrate the resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, which for many is a very important holiday because, of course, it does remind us that that there is life and that somebody was able to conquer death, and he is the only one that could provide us that eternal grace that we're all after. But we did have unfortunate news. We do ask for our city, and I do believe our city will be looking into this. And I do know a commissioner that is very active, Mr. Roy de los Santos. He is very active in it, and he does have his ear and is very in tune with the community. And I'm sure, obviously, he got this news, and hopefully maybe some changes will be implemented. And I'm not saying that this is the city's fault, by no means. What I am saying is maybe we could possibly provide more lighting in that area. Maybe we need to do a study. This is not the only isolated event that has transpired in this area. And again, within time, we do hope that there is a possibility of that area seeking a little bit more attention, possibly lighting. And again, it's always during these days of festivities where we have these unfortunate events. By no means am I blaming the city by this. We could make the argument, that they did put us in harm by not providing the proper and adequate lighting to be out there. But to our drivers, especially on the weekends and then during the festival days, everybody's antsy, everybody's in a rush. But it is unfortunate to report that we did have one death Saturday night in the city of Brownsville on the intersection of Alton Glore and Paredes. Reggae show? Now, in political news, is Biden losing the Hispanic vote? And before you ask, what's going on? What are you talking about, Frankie? There's no way that that Hispanic culture, which have been indoctrinated in the Democratic political party for X amount of years in South Texas, there's no way that the minorities in the state of Texas, in this country, will go against the Democratic Party. We have seen how many people have questioned the direction that this current administration has taken. Questions such as immigration. Here, living in the border town of Brownsville, Texas, we are the ones that have been seeing the the ramifications of this open door policy. Now, we can sit here and argue all day whether having open borders is good or bad for this country. What I am going to say is, I don't care about your political views. I don't care whether you're left, right, R, or D. What it is important for us to see is that this current administration, in my opinion, has failed miserably. You can make the argument of having the troops withdrawn from Afghanistan was a good thing. That left us a black eye in the world. We have seen, President Biden ran on the platform of student loans. One that has, student loans. It was kind of, what are you saying? He did promise that within time, and of course, this is all political rhetoric, but within time that he would dissolve student loans. Now, of course, we do know that this is harder than what it seems. You can't just, zero everybody out. But we have seen throughout President Biden's administration that he does not have a grip on the political landscape, it seems. And what is important for us is the Hispanic vote. We have seen how time and time again, if we look at the numbers, and again, politics is all about numbers. It's a numbers game, right? Look at how the Democrats from 2016, how they've been changing slowly. In 2016, we have the Hispanic Democrat voting 66% compared to the Republican Mexican or Republican, the Hispanic Republican. And look at 2018, how the number went up, but then sharply it went down, and it keeps on going down to right now in 2022. The Hispanic voting Democrat is 47%, almost 20%. You lose 20%. Now, you may say 20% doesn't sound like a lot, but anybody that knows politics is 20% is a lot. Even 2, 3, 4, 5, 6% is huge, huge. Now, just imagine 20%. So we have seen throughout these past 6, 8 years how demographics are changing in the United States. Here, importantly for us, it is interesting to see, if you look at the right-hand side on 2016, the presidential election, when Secretary of State Hillary Clinton ran against President Donald Trump here in Hidalgo County, close by, our neighbors. Hillary Clinton garnered 69% of the vote compared to Donald Trump's 28%. Now we look at the 2020 race, presidential race, President Biden and President Trump. Look at the numbers. It dropped 10% from Hillary Clinton back in 2016 to Joe Biden. What does that tell us? Again, numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I'm very big on numbers. I study numbers. The name of the game is numbers. What do we see? These numbers show us that Hispanic has been slowly veering away from the Democratic Party. Now, again, I'm not here to convince nobody. I'm not here to indoctrinate nobody. But what we have seen throughout the country is that many people have been sighing or choosing the Republican Party as of late. Now, we have heard about this red wave that has been coming across the United States. Many redistricting here in Texas has forced Vicente Gonzalez to move from his original county, original district, original region to down here to South Texas, and in particular in Brownsville. Is the Hispanic vote changing? Possibly, but again, I always report the good and the bad. I want us to see Donald Trump. Donald Trump around this time again is just about the same as President Biden. They're both sitting at 41% around this time. Barack Obama was at 48% around this time. Now, I don't want y'all to think, oh, Frankie's just bashing on Biden. No, I report everything. What is surprising to me is how George W. Bush, he was always revered. He's always been I voted for Bush on his last. He was the first president I voted for, even though he was a Republican. Again, I vote for the individual. I do not vote for party. I like to see their platform. And what is interesting to see is that Joe Biden is at 40% as of right now. But we have seen presidents throughout the midterm. George W. Bush was at a 63%, which is very, very impressive. And Texas, him being the governor, him being the owner of the Texas Rangers, it's easy to see, how many individuals revered the president. We can talk about 9/11, how that would be his black eye, the weapons of mass destruction, Iraq. But that is a topic for another day. But is Joe Biden losing the Hispanic vote? His policies on open borders, inflation has been through the roof. Now, one could argue and say, "Hey, Frankie, you can't cause the war or the effects of the war on a president." Well, I would make the argument. And look, I'm not here to say that that Trump is the best thing that happened to America. What we did see during President Trump's term in office was that he was a more ballsy, more hands-on, more, hey, we're the United States and you're not going to screw us. We're going to benefit from it. Compared to Joe Biden's, hey, everything's okay, open borders, peace and love, everything's going to be fine. What I have seen is that there has been a contrast in administrations. Now, would President Putin invade Ukraine if President Trump was in office? I don't know. That remains to be seen. But they did have a good working relationship. And I'm not here to say, if President Trump was in office, everything would be okay in the world. But we did have, inflation, moderate inflation. Nothing how it's had skyrocketed today. So it is important for us to notice the change in mindset of Hispanics. We have seen how slowly they have been turning on the Democrats. Now, why is that? There are many reasons. Again, immigration has been a very important topic that, for whatever reason, we have not been able to take a hold of. So, will South Texas, and what the reason why I posted this story was not to bash on Democrats, was not to bash on Biden. By no means. It's to show the people that is there a shift in the political landscape of the United States, which was and has been dominantly Democrats for many, many years in South Texas, which is even more important for us in Brownsville. Are we seeing a change in culture where these Democrats just offer social programs, welfare, and I'm all for it. I'm all for that. But it seems like instead of helping the people, they want to make us stagnant. They want to make us content. Here's a free phone. Here's money. Don't educate yourself. Just stay the way you are, but keep voting for me while they get rich. Or do we want politicians in office that will come and tell us the truth and be upfront with us and say, hey, look, we need to change the landscape. We need to change the culture. It is not going to be this way. Yes, I will provide you help, but contingent on you getting an education, you learning a trade, you applying your skills for your future. Yes, we'll give you a 6, 9, 12 month, 16, 18 month head start, but then you're on your own. That is what I feel that many people have been dissatisfied with the Democratic Party, that we have seen them, that they have just been feeding us and saying, here, be quiet, be satisfied, be happy. Instead of saying, here, look, I brought you jobs. Here, look, I have opportunity for your children in life. Why haven't we heard that? All we hear, unfortunately, all we hear in the news or on the tube is how the Democrats, those in office here locally, I don't care about Washington, I care about Brownsville. Here locally, they have been getting rich. So we have seen throughout the years how the Hispanic voter, which was once a hardcore Democrat, is now on the fence about it to 47%. Now, it's important for the Republicans for these individuals to be on the fence. Why? Because we could possibly gain their vote. And again, he made a big on his platform was to lower Medicare eligibility for the age of 60. I'm in Medicare. That still has not happened. And again, this is something that takes time. I understand. Also, the forgiveness of the student loans for low income and middle class families. This is something that was on his platform. This was the reasons why he was going to be president and make everything better. Again, political rhetoric. Many people do not, unfortunately, do not forget that. Broken promises are promises that are always remembered. But that's how it goes, I guess. It starts with a year followed by action. Hopefully things can get better. This is why voting process is so important. Vote no for the arena. We'll be talking about that. I know my cousin Danny Salinas with Brownsville Tech News. He will be having an interview with our Cameron County Judge Eddie Trevino. I will be sharing that just so our community could hear from our judge Eddie Trevino and post any questions that they may have on the show. I think it's today at 8 p.m. So make sure you tune in. I'll be sure to share the link. The U.S. is no longer respected among world leaders. There's no fear in them. Russia has eyes on the attack. God save you. And I agree with you. I think now, before, not that we're still not feared and respected, but now we're not looked at the same. We have a commander in chief. And I'm not here to belittle nobody. It's just not the same, and we all know it. I'm not going to go into details. I'm not going to say, we all know that he's out of it. He's loopy. Some things you don't understand. We have seen the tension that has created between the vice president and himself. The Democratic Party moving forward, that if Joe Biden were to run again, that he would not have Kamala Harris as his running mate for VP. These things, these frictions within the party could possibly lead to the GOP once again taking the presidency. What do you think? Do you think these internal problems, Royal, will cause the Democratic Party to lose the highest seat in the land? What's up? How's it going? Happy Easter. Hope you had a good weekend. Vote for the right person, not what party you belong to. That's just my opinion, and that's what I agree. That's what I agree, Manny. I personally, I like Peter. What's his name? Peter Buttigieg, the mayor from Indiana. I love that he's a veteran. He served LGBT, smart guy. He is young. I think he's like 35, 37. But now we see him in President Biden's cabinet. We do expect him to have a long, successful political career. I believe he has what it takes, eventually, within time, of course. But I vote for the person. I'm very dissatisfied with the Democratic Party here in Cameron County. The politicos, they hold on to this power and they help out other people, and they don't really give back. Yeah, they give back by giving backpacks and giving us a crumbs. But at the end of the day, do they bring jobs? Do they bring opportunity? Or do they themselves get rich and screw everybody else? We need Trump. That's what we've been hearing. Again, is the role of the president to control the global economy and have an impact on gasoline? Now, I'm not here to say, President Trump, when President Trump was in office, was because he had good relations with the Saudis and possibly. Again, we have seen how change in administrations have consequences. They always say elections have consequences. That is something that I've heard here in the city of Brownsville very, very, very much. Elections have consequences. But we have seen how during President Trump's time, he had a close working relationship with the Saudis. And here gas was what, 250, 270, maybe 3. No, it never hit 3. It was a comfortable mid 2s, 2.5. But that's another argument. But do we need Trump? I don't know. You said it, not me. And now for our feature story. The Brownsville Independent School District will be moving forward and consolidating southmost schools, Cromac and Del Castillo, two schools that have been at the forefront of our people in South Coast for many, many years. We have seen how, because of budget constraints, the district no longer feels the need to have these large schools. And this could be attributed to a lot of things. We have seen how charter schools such as Jubilee, Idea, Harmony have been taking away the numbers from BISD. And again, it's all a numbers game. Such is life. We have seen how the district for many years had a healthy 40,000 students, easily 40,000 students. But throughout the Rio Grande Valley, throughout the United States, we have seen how charter schools have been taking away these students. And the big topic and the big reason why many parents have sent their students to charter schools is because of college, because of the idea that every child that goes to a certain school will have the opportunity to go to college. Now, I think their success rate is something in the high 90s, if I'm not mistaken, like a 95 or a 97. And I don't want to exaggerate, but it's something very impressive. Like, wow, your school has a 97% chance of acceptance rate for your students, which is phenomenal. BISD right now is at the crossroads. Before, it used to dominate, and it still does to a certain extent. But before, it used to dominate the educational landscape in the city of Brownsville. A district with 52 schools and having a budget of over $500 million is a monster. We are the largest school district south of San Antonio. We have seen how 3 years ago, the district consolidated 3 schools. They promised that there will not be no cuts because, of course, once you downsize, everybody thinks, oh, crap. Moving forward, they did announce that they would not have any cuts for individuals that were at Cromac, that were at Del Castillo, that they would allow attrition to take place. And again, that's another topic for discussion. They're eventually going to force these individuals into retirement. That way they do not have to continue to pay them. But what is interesting to see is that we have seen how the district has been slowly losing its grip on the city. Schools such as Cromac and Del Castillo now are on the butcher shop. They have decided that, we want to make elementary schools that are in the thousands now in enrollment, in attendance. Why are we having 3 or 4 with 200 or less than 200 students and bringing them into one? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for us to have all these schools in operation. Now, again, it's all about money. Now, you would ask yourselves, well, what happened to the $185 million of the COVID relief funds that the district got from the government during COVID? What happened to the Elon Musk money? And again, this is peanuts to the dollar, of course. Running a school district, I think it's, I don't know. I don't want to say the numbers and get wrong, but I think it takes like $1 million to operate BISD in one day, if I'm not mistaken. Now the numbers, they're losing numbers. And again, it's all a numbers game. Whenever you have attendance, you have the federal government giving money. Once you start losing attendance, now before we were at 40,000, I think now the numbers, and again, BISD kind of chops it up, but I think it's closer to 30, 31, maybe 32. If you round it off, 32,000 students in the district, which once housed 50, 40,000. And just by, you could just cha-ching, hear the loss of cash. But the district is focusing on tightening ship. They will be consolidating a few schools in 2024. The interesting thing is that they will be having good morning. They will be having representatives go to these collegiate elementaries, that they call them, to see how they operate and to see how they could be incorporated into BISD. Now, I want to to stress something very, very important. Not everybody, not everybody has what it takes to go to college. And before I get started, I had friends that, because of their choosing, they walked out with $100,000 worth of loans. They got a job making 38,000, 40,000, 45,000. To me, that does not make sense. Now, is college for everybody? In my opinion, no. When I was growing up, I needed a college degree because during my time, they said, hey, this high school diploma is worth nothing. When my mom went to school, when my uncles went to school, when my grandparents went to school, you know what they needed? They needed a high school diploma. Whenever you got the high school diploma, like, wow. I know when I graduated, my grandparents were like, wow. Like, to many families, it's a big accomplishment. Wow, Mico se recibió la prepa. Now it's like, oh, you didn't graduate high school? The old antiquated idea of college is you need to go to college. You need to learn something. But what happens with college? The student walks out with 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80,000 worth of debt. And what happens? We get jobs that, as art teachers that make $27,000 a year. Nowadays, college is not for everybody. Plumbers, electricians, skilled welders that make 20, 30, 40, $40 per hour. They make a handsome salary of 50, 60, $75,000 in Brownsville, which is great. Now, again, you could argue, hey, Frankie, you were just talking about not having opportunity. Now you're saying for us not to go to college. What is important for us to understand is that we are living in antiquated times. College is not for everybody. College will not get you that $100,000. Being a hustler, being an entrepreneur, being a shark, we should focus on, instead of directing all our attention, college. And I don't want to seem, because I do have a bachelor's, I do have a master's. I do believe in education. I believe, for me, education was everything. That's something that my family always instilled in me. You need education. You need education. Okay, I need education. But the older I got, and me wanting to go into education as a teacher and seeing things, I'm like, you know what? College isn't for everybody. But that has been the old antiquated way that the school district has been shoving down our throats. And look, let's not forget Veterans Memorial High School. And look, I love Veterans Memorial. I have family that goes to Veterans. But what happened with Veterans? Veterans became the school. You know how everybody says, oh, I went to the Hannah High. Well, Veterans became the high school. Why? Because they got the cream of the crop. They got the best students, the best athletes, and left everybody else to dry, it seems. Now, again, I'm not throwing no shade at veterans. I personally love veterans. I'm talking about the mindset of our school district and its administration and its leaders. Why don't we have somebody that says, you know what, this isn't working? And look, they don't really care about the student's future. To them, it's all about money. Again, money makes the world go round. It's a numbers game, as we all know. But what we fail to realize is, let's look at history. Let's look at what has happened. What has veterans shown us? It has shown, and this is my opinion, it has shown discrimination. It has shown segregation. Damn. Why? Because you're only getting the cream of the crop. You're only getting the best athletes. And what are you saying to the rest of the high schoolers? That you're not important, that you can't come to this school. We should give equal opportunity to all schools. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of text messages and calls after this, but these elementaries that they want to consolidate will be just that. They want to make it into an educational college. Now, when a collegiate college, a collegiate college. And when you say, what the heck is that? Shit, I don't know. I've never collegiate elementary. A collegiate elementary. Oh, wow, it sounds fancy. Welcome to Frankie Olivo Elementary, the collegiate elementary. Wow, it sounds wow, spiffy. But shouldn't that be every school's main goal to get that student to college? Why is it that, again, what I feel that they're doing is that they're masking, they're saying, hey, we don't have the numbers, we're losing so much money. And again, I know where they're coming from. Hey, it doesn't make sense. To them, they're seeing it as a business. Hey, we don't have the numbers, we're losing so much money with light, overhead, liability. It's not worth it. Let's just close it and move everybody into one. And let's make it the collegiate elementary. But what will they do? What will they say to the city? That only certain individuals, certain students will be allowed to this school? Only the cream of the crop will be going to this collegiate elementary? In my opinion, we are doing a disservice to our community by shoving college down our throat. And before I get off the tube, I support individuals that go to college. Lawyers, doctors, engineers. I support individuals who want to go to college. What I'm trying to say is that not everybody is made for college. Not everybody benefits from going to college. That is what I'm trying to convey. And the district is still living in antiquated times where that's their only mindset. And instead of teaching us finance, teach me how to get a loan, teach me how to be a hustler, teach me how to survive. Don't teach me how to be on that tit, which is the educational system that has been taking our money. Teach me how to survive in the real world. Teach me how to open a bank account. Teach me how to fix numbers. Teach me about stock. I'm 35 years old and I'm barely learning about stock. Why? Because I had to learn from my friends. I have to be around these sharks, and I'm just listening and watching and taking notes. They're like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, nothing." Because I want to be those sharks. I could have had a 10, 15-year head start if I started in high school. Why don't they teach us how to survive? You know what they teach us? To rely on the tip. And again, college is great. It has been beneficial to me, has been beneficial to my family. Not every student is destined for college. We should focus on teaching them the realities of life. This is finance. This is the debit card. This is a credit card. Get a credit card, charge everything on your credit card, and pay it monthly. Pay the balance in zero. What is that going to do to you? That's going to help you increase your credit score. You're going to get more opportunities because of that. But make sure you charge everything, but make sure you pay it off. Why do we teach us that? They teach us go to college. They'll help. No, let's help them now. Because at the end of the day, what we see is that when you have no opportunity, when you have no motivation, no direction, you get what we have now. South Texas being one of the poorest regions in our country. And that is the rest of the story. The numbers are a little lower than what is being reported. I would dare say 28 to 30. And that's why I gave it a low 31, 32, because again, the numbers fluctuate. And the interesting thing at Asmo is that BISD realizes that they are losing this overall race with these charter schools. Fancy words say that our Southmost folk are getting screwed. Pretty much. The school system needs to teach our students to do research and do independent studies. This will create successful students. If not, it's not about the grades, it's about the knowledge. You said it best, but again, all we care about is the stars. When I was growing up, it was a tax. Was it the tax? I think it was a tax. Then it was a star. That's all we care about. People blame George Bush from going back to his policies and his implementations of the end of course, the EOC. But again, that's a topic for a different day. But I agree. I agree, Royal. Morning. I agree, Royal, that we do need to get away from this antiquated collegiate system. Now, again, before I get off, people say, Frankie, que no va a la escuela. See, he doesn't promote education. He doesn't. No, I have a bachelor's, I have a master's. But what I'm trying to say is not everybody will benefit from it. We do not have the opportunities nowadays. We should promote of students learning skills. And I'm not saying BISD doesn't. I'm not saying that. They do, but we need it on a larger scale. And when them wanting to consolidate these schools, I think they're doing it a disservice to our community, because those schools are only going to bring the cream of the crop, such as what happened in Veterans, and we should be equal for every and all student in our school district. Guys, it is 7:41 a.m. Thank you for your time. Hope you have a great day. Again, it's going to be it's going to be a sunny day with a possible chance of some sort of rain tomorrow. 30% chance of rain. Today is tax day. Uncle Sam is at your door. If you need if you have any questions or need help with any concern that you may have moving forward, today is the day to file your taxes. Stop by or call Linda Castro to help you out. If you are a small business owner and you still haven't gotten your ducks in a row and you do need to file an extension, call Linda Castro to help you file the 4868 for your extension on your taxes. You could possibly receive 6 months for you to get your affairs in order. President Biden, is he losing the Hispanic vote? We have seen how Hidalgo County in 2016 voted heavily for Secretary Clinton. Now, 4 years later, we have seen how the Democrats have lost 10 points in the presidential race. How will that affect President Biden with the Hispanic and possibly minority vote moving forward? And again, BISD is doing a disservice to our community by consolidating schools, making them into a collegiate school, which in reality, they should teach us about finance, teach us about opening up a business account, a checking account, a debit card, stocks. That's what we need to focus on. Hope you have a great day. Thank you for your time. God bless.